Day 20. We're just going to keep doing this. I will have done a couple more of those cards that I brought up earlier. So I'm going to do that today and tell you how far I got tomorrow, because I need to. Have you ever taken a walk on the wild side? What was it like? I'm not a wild dude. I don't know. I went skydiving a while ago. There was hail. Like, we went through a cloud of hail. So, kind of sucked. It was like getting machine gunned by an airsoft gun. Like, just finish this sentence. Life is short. So, life is short, so try to squeeze in as many things as possible. Maybe if you have a way of multitasking, do it. If you can achieve 2 goals simultaneously, try. Like, I want to help people, and I would like to own my own company someday. So, if I start a company whose goal is to help people, 2 for 1. Look at that. Life is short, so do your best. You are planning the dinner party of your dreams, and there are 8 chairs. You can invite 7 other people, anyone still alive. Who will fill the chairs, and what will make this dinner interesting? I'm going to put a pin in that. A couple of these questions I'm going to mark down, and I'm going to answer them later, because I just don't feel comfortable. I don't really like answering questions about specific people, because I don't really want to talk about specific people. Don't want to offend anyone, or like if I forget to mention somebody, like if I say that 3 people and then the other 4 are like celebrities I want to meet, or I might accidentally leave out somebody I actually know and then offend them because it's like, well, you wouldn't invite me to that party. It's not like that. I just forgot. Create a superhero for your current city. Describe their appearance, name, and special powers. His name would be the High Flyer. And I live in the high desert. At least that's what it's called. And a lot of people give it that. That's what it's called because of the location, but it's also called that because there's a lot of stoners in the area. A lot of weed. So this superhero is part of that. He's also very high. But his powers are, he can fly, obviously. He's kind of creepy. He looks like, what are they called? The Insane Clown Posse people. Juggalos. He looks like that. Like he's got like a tank top, and then he's got like the scary clown makeup, and he's got like cargo shorts on and sandals, and a cape, a green cape, and he flies around, and he makes sure that dealers aren't giving out that weak shit. Or another guy, he's like Spider-Man, but legally distinct web guy, and he's just Spider-Man. Same powers, similar personality. He's just here instead. That's all. You have just bought a sailboat, and you have to name it. What would you name your boat? Where's the first place you'd sail to? And my boat would be called Senor Sail, and I would sail to, I have no idea. I would hire somebody to do all the work, and then I would ask him where he wants to sail, and then we'd go there. Do you find skeletons to be interesting or scary? I mean, they're pretty spooky. They're spooky, and they're scary, and they're skeletons, and they send shivers down my spine. But I feel they're not that scary. I mean, we're all skeletons. We just have the burden of meat on us. Have you ever written something that made you cry while writing it? What triggered that response? About a year ago, I decided I wanted to start a diary kind of like this, but it wasn't going to be public. I just got a book and I started writing stuff, and I wanted it to be sad, so I started with the unfortunate stuff. So, like, I was just writing down my feelings and what I miss about my Aunt Karen, who passed away in 2015, and my cat, who died fairly soon after that. And I don't know, the subject matter is what triggered the response. Create 4 new and original metaphors that apply to your life. I'm gonna put a pin in that. I'll give you one. This is one that I use a lot. I've told people this before, but I kind of consider myself. I think I'm selfish, but I also think I'm selfish for the right reasons, which I guess everyone probably does. But I see it like this. If you know me, that you've already heard this. I am in a group of people, and we're lost out in the desert, and we're just wandering, and it's been a while. We're all thirsty, we're all hungry, we're all dying, and then a horse comes running up. It's got a saddle on it, and there's only one horse. One of us can get on that horse and leave. And the selfless thing to do would be to allow someone else to have that horse. And you would think that the selfish thing would be to try to make sure you're the one on that horse. But I don't think that it is selfish, because in my opinion, I'm going to do everything I can to get that horse. I want that horse. Not because I want to save myself, but because I know for a fact that I will come back for the rest. I will get help and I will come back. And I don't know that the rest of these people will do that. I don't trust these people to come back for the group, but I know that I will. I trust myself to come back and help these people. I don't trust these strangers to do that as well. For all I know, they're just going to leave, and everyone around me is going to die. So yeah, I will kill you to get that horse. I will save these people. You'll think that I'm doing it for me, and I am kind of, but I'm also doing it for them. That's one. I'll get back to the other 3 some other time. I do metaphors a lot, and I kind of lost track of them, so I don't know. Have you ever experienced deja vu? What was it about? I experience deja vu all the time. Last night, I was gluing a little hook to this little skateboard thing that I made. It's like a little dolly skateboard doohicker for my camera. And I was gluing a hook to it so I can tie a string to it. And while I was placing it to put the glue on it, my mom said something. I don't remember what she said, but I felt like I had done that. I had experienced it before. I hadn't, but it happens every couple of weeks. It's not interesting. It is what it is. Pick one of the following careers: music DJ, sushi chef, or firefighter. This will be your job for the next 3 months. Why did you choose it, and what benefit do you think you will gain from it? Firefighter, because I respect that job, and if I had to do one of them, I would have the most pride afterwards. Like, I would like to be a firefighter just for a little bit, because if something happens and I die, it was for a good cause. And if I don't, I can carry that experience with me the rest of my life, just knowing that I know how hard it is. Like, I was there for a little bit and I got a taste of how rough that life is. So it's just a matter of respect. Like, there's nothing wrong with being a sushi chef or being a DJ, but like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, you're a DJ? Whoa! That's fine. That's cool. It's interesting. But I mean, music doesn't really drive me that much, and sushi's good, but I mean, I'd rather buy it. I don't need to know why sushi is the way it is. I don't need to make it myself. But firefighters, they have a hard job, and they just choose that. So I wouldn't mind. Plus, I'd get to meet a bunch of firefighters, and I'd get to shake their hands and thank them. If you're jingling in the background, that's my dog. Write a thank you note by hand to a special person in your life. Thank them for being in your life rather than for something they did. Have you ever been exploring? Where did you go? And what were you looking for? What did you find? Location scouting for videos. That's just me and that buddy David. We just drove because he needed some footage of like this old house, this old worn down house, and Lucerne is just down the road. It's just down the road. Quite a while, but we just drove there and we just drove around looking for that. We found some stuff. We didn't use it, but we found some stuff. My friend Jose, he was always the spontaneous type. I was at his house one day, and they're mountains, but they're not really. They're like, if you really try, you could get up and back down in like an hour, maybe an hour and a half. But we would make a day of it. It would take a couple hours to get to the top. It would take a couple hours to get back down. So like, it's a nice exercise. It's a nice day. It's fun. I actually think I'm going to go up there one day with a couple of extra batteries and an extra large SD card and see if I can get a time lapse from sunrise to sundown from the top. So I would just be up there all day. I'd have to make a party of that, like bring either one person that we can hang out, or bring a couple of people and just hang out for the day. Look forward to that. Maybe that'll happen, maybe it won't. I'm going to wait for summer, though, because it's really nice in the summer because it's super hot, but when you get to the top, it's really windy, so it's nice and cool. But yeah, I was at his house one day, and he was like, hey, you want to go climb that mountain over there? And I had never done that before, and it was right... You mean right now? You want to just right now just... That's like if right now, I'm talking to you, we're hanging out, and I'm just like, hey, let's go climb a mountain. Now. And we did, and it was nice. We saw that there's Bell Mountain, which is slightly taller than the one that we were on. We could see it from the top that it was higher, so we climbed that one next, and that's the thing that I do. Found a new, activity that I like to bring people to, because it's kind of like a nice team building / getting to know someone exercise. Like if I meet a new person, I take them there, knowing that if they're even a little bit in shape, they don't even have to. They can be out of shape, and you can still make it to the top. It's a good. It's like a test. It's a test that if you fail, that's fine too. You can learn a lot from somebody when you take them to something that's a little bit rigorous. Like how do they handle it? Do they give up? If they are the type to give up, that's not too bad either. Like if they give up climbing that, maybe that's just not where their priorities lie and they don't care. Now that's still something to learn. Or you can learn that, okay, they're the type of person that really likes playing video games, doesn't like climbing a mountain. That's good. Now you can mark them as a friend that you just play games with and don't ever plan on, like later on if you decide to go camping, you can save your time and not invite them. Like it's just it's helpful and you learn a lot. What do you consider to be boring? Not wanting more. Like when people tell me that their goal is to get a regular job and money. Like money is boring. Like if your goal is money, that I check out as soon as you say that, because it's just okay. What's the point? Like that's great. That's fine if that's what you want, but I don't see it. I just don't see it. Oh, I don't know. Unless of course you're doing that to get money to support a family because you have a family. That's different. But if you're just a person and you don't know what to do with your life, so you think, I'll just work at Rite Aid for the rest of my life, like, okay, that's fine. That's coming from a person who has barely ever had a real job, and I'm not one to judge, though, so. Have you ever had a bad injury or accident? How did you recover? And does it still affect you today? I don't think I've ever been really injured at all. And if I was, it clearly didn't affect me that much because I forgot about it. When I was a super little kid, when I was very little, I was being dragged around on like a boogie board. My sister was, I was sitting on it and she was just dragging me right next to the water at the beach. And a wave grabbed me and pulled me onto the water. And this was when I was barely forming memories. Like, I can see it in my head, but I was too young to really remember a lot. I was in the water, and my mom just assumed I was going to die. She was terrified. And then I guess the water slammed me into these rocks. And then when my stepdad at the time, Mark, he came over and found me in this like crevice in between two rocks, and he reached in and he pulled me out. And his arms were covered in blood. Like, my mom thought that I was dying because he reached in and pulled me out, and now I was covered in blood. But it turned out that I was covered in his blood because him reaching in cut him up a bunch by those rocks, and him pulling me out. When they actually wiped me down and like inspected me, I had a cut like this big on my back, and that was it. I was not even bleeding. I was 100% fine. So that affects me in that's a silly story that I think about sometimes, and it's just weird. It's just a bizarre thing that happened. But I wasn't injured, so I don't know. It's weird. Have you ever pretended to be someone else? Would you? For jokes, as a joke, yeah. I do that kind of stuff every once in a while online. I'll change my username on whatever I'm doing just to mess with the person, like my friends. Not to hurt anyone, just to mess with my friends. But I don't really have any good examples, not like interesting stories. No, I don't know, that's not really. I'm just going to do this last question. What gives you butterflies in your stomach? Do you like the feeling? That's a good question. When I went skydiving, I got the butterflies for the first time when we were actually exiting the plane. Like, looking out of the plane and actually on our way up, I didn't really feel any anxiety or any nerves come up. It was tandem, so I was like strapped to another guy. And like when we leaned out, for a second I was out. I was kind of hanging out of the plane while he was in the plane, sort of. And for a second, when we actually were falling out, I got the butterflies in my stomach, and it was awesome. It was really exciting. It was a good feeling. Other than that, no. I mean, I get butterflies sometimes. I'm not like, I don't have nerves of steel by any means. I don't know. I don't put myself in that kind of experience that often. This is a longer one. I'm gonna get off. Tomorrow I'll talk about those tarot cards a little bit more. And yeah, thanks for listening. I will see you tomorrow.